I think there needs to be an investigation at Ubisoft because the amount of cope that comes from this company, the amount of lies and just absolutely misunderstanding what's going on is legendary. Okay, we got to talk about it. Before we do, guys, we're sitting at 19,211 subscribers. Again, not saying we're going to get to 20,000 by the end of the year, but it would be a great Christmas gift. So make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and all of those great things. Also, stay to the end of the video where I'm going to go at you guys' comments from the last video. All right. Before we get into the Assassin's Creed nonsense, I wanted to go to this little quick story here. Knights of the Old Republic. Y'all remember that game was being remade? Well, apparently it's still in development. And according to, I guess, someone, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake is in development at Mad Head Games and Saber Interactive. Disney and Lucasfilm are also planning a full remake of Knights of the Old Republic 2 with Obsidian's cut content. Now, where does this come from? Steven Totilo, okay, he wrote an article about an untold saga behind a missing Star Wars video game add-on that spawned a lawsuit. And in this story, he revealed, well, I'll just tell you what his tweet says right here. He says, I made this nice thread, but let's be real. The part people are going to buzz about the most is that Disney Lucasfilm Games, as recently as March, has been planning a full Knights of the Republic 2 remake, okay? Yeah, that's 2. And no, not a port, a full remake with Obsidian's cut content. Now, that's interesting because a person responded here, Rob Blackwell, and said, shouldn't there be a remake of 1 first then? And he said, that's the plan, all explained in the piece. So I don't know, maybe we'll go over that at a later date. I've been looking forward to the Knights of the Old Republic remake up until it got like semi-canceled, but not really canceled. So I don't know. We got to get into this Assassin's Creed story though. What is Ubisoft talking about, bro? So they wrote this, or I came across this tweet from Pirate Nation. Backlash toward Yasuke and Naoe hasn't scared Ubisoft too much. Ubisoft does not kneel to the chuds. They still stand firmly behind inclusion of Yasuke. Okay. That's not actually what was being said in this article. What the article says is Assassin's Creed Shadows Backlash won't stop Ubisoft from going down the dual protagonist route in the future. If we have a good reason to do it, I guess they're saying they'll do it. I don't understand this though. What are you talking about? Who had an issue with going down the dual protagonist route? Nobody had an issue with that in Odyssey, and I'm pretty sure Odyssey wasn't the only one that did it. Let's go to the article and see what they had to say. So, this comes from Games Radar, by the way. So they say Assassin's Creed Shadows was the subject of both heated fan debate and gross toxicity from the online culture war warriors. Oh, he tight. Whoever wrote this, you're tight. But associate game director Simon LeMay Comtoy recently said all the drama hasn't scared Ubisoft away from making the game with dual protagonists in the future if it makes sense to do so. Now, that's why I'm a little bit confused, because who was upset about that? I'll let him finish though. I'm gonna let him finish. Dual protagonists can be, this is him speaking though. Dual protagonists can be divisive along very strange lines, right? It's not just, well, I prefer war, therefore I prefer Yasuke. Some people just don't like one character over the other, and they don't like to spend time with one. It was true with Assassin's Creed Syndicate's Evie and Jacob, but with Naoe and Yasuke, it's more divisive. And we knew this. We knew going into it, but I think it can split our fan base a little too. Okay. Now, this is what Games Radar is saying. What LeMay Comtoy doesn't specifically name is the racist backlash toward co-protagonist Yasuke, Japan's first ever black samurai who actually existed in history. Series executive producer Mark Alex Coates previously said the backlash around Yasuke's existence in the game were attacks driven by intolerance. No! Okay? No. I'll explain it again for the 1000th time. You only included Yasuke in this game to virtue signal, because it made 0 sense. That is a lie. Yasuke was never a samurai. He was not Japan's first ever black samurai. He was not a samurai. Okay? That was written by some retarded liberal white professor who went over there and just conjured up a story and start telling it to people and selling books to make money. He was the literal definition of a grifter. Like, come on. Additionally, people aren't upset about seeing a black person in the game. If they did, they would have never been upset about Assassin's Creed Origins. Did anybody complain about that? No, they didn't. They didn't. Okay. This was all about Ubisoft taking the opportunity. Japan. Everybody wanted Assassin's Creed in Japan. And instead of giving us 2 Japanese protagonists, you decide to give us a black protagonist. Why? For virtue signal reasons. That's what people were upset about. Okay? You can stop pretending. You can stop acting as though people are just so racist. And don't get it twisted. There are people that are racist. Don't get me wrong. But it had nothing to do with this backlash. It had nothing to do with that. Okay? But again, as I've said for like the 30th time this week, you don't hate journalism enough. And also, Ubisoft is pure delusional. You mean to tell me from all that conversation, from all that conjecture online, what you took away from all of that was that people didn't like dual protagonists? Are you out of your mind? Guys, you just can't make this stuff up. You just can't. You just can't. You can't make this stuff up. And that's why Ubisoft is where they are right now. That's why they are where they are. But lucky for us, we've been rescued by AA studios and indie studios. So shouts out to them. I hope y'all keep doing it. How long, guys, how long before we get a AA studio or an indie developer making their own version of Assassin's Creed? Because I think that's what's in right now. Coming out and making downscaled but better versions of what used to be great AAA games. I mean, that's kind of what Clair Obscur Expedition 33 was, right? It was Final Fantasy, but in French. That's what it was. It was Final Fantasy. It was the Final Fantasy remake that we should have gotten, but we didn't. And they did it better. And they embarrassed Square Enix. So, I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. In the meantime, we're going to get into some of y'all comments from the last video, man. So this comes from What the Faust. He says that intro is the funniest thing I've seen in a long while. Yeah, if you haven't seen the last video where I talk about how my channel is under attack, you got to see that intro. At the very least, you got to see that intro. It's hilarious. Thank you. I appreciate the comment. Terrence Hudson says, your videos are my favorite TV series. Hey, man, I really appreciate that. Appreciate the kind words. Y'all have no idea how that keeps me moving, keeps me going. Darth DeMo says, I don't see the link for the chicken and watermelon coffee. Hey, man, I wish, but I don't have that type of infrastructure right now. Lazy Dunmer says, saw the thumbnail and the pic and immediately thought Quarter Pounder was trying to devour Atreus. Y'all gotta start calling that man Quarter Pounder, man. I gotta start calling him that. Hey, man, I appreciate the comment as always. Thank you for being a member too. I see you using them emotes, and I thank you all for your comments. I thank you all for subscribing. In the meantime, y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. As always, may the grift be with you. I'll talk to y'all later.
Oh, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.